Okay, so first up we have Mrs. Loyacona, and she is going to be going over some graduation requirements.
For graduation, students need the following things. They need 24 credits in the required areas, a minimum of a 2.0 GPA, which is a C letter average grade. So our goal is obviously C's and above. They must pass the reading FSA or have the concordance score, which could be an SAT or ACT concordance score. They must do an online class at some point. That could be through FLVS, could be through dual enrollment, or if they earn industry certification. Students need 20 hours of community service. There are opportunities listed on our website. We have online website opportunities as well for students who are trying to social distance. And they need to pass a score on the Algebra EOC or a concordance score. That could be their SAT or their ACT score. So how it breaks down into credits. So every year, every course is one full credit. So every year students take English. So that's 4 English credits, 3 social studies credits, which include world history, US history, and government and economics, which are each a semester long, 1 PE credit. PE can be earned through HOPE. It could be earned through personal fitness and physical education. It could also be earned if you do marching band. If a student does marching band and they take personal fitness as well, that would consider a PE credit, as well as if they do 2 years of a sport in school, could be the varsity or the JV level, then there is a waiver that you can request from the school's, your student's counselor to waive that requirement. As well as if they got the ACE diploma, then they'd also get to waive that requirement. 8 elective credits, which could be in anything students choose, 4 math credits, 3 science credits, where 1 must be biology and 1 must be a physical science. When I say physical science, it could be earth space science, could be physical science, or it could be chemistry. And 1 fine practical art credit. That could be marching, that could be band, art, speech, theater. All of those are fine practical art credits, as well as some business classes that we offer. So community service, it must be done at a non-for-profit organization. They cannot work at like a doctor's office or anything like that, but they could work in a hospital. So anything where they're not earning, they're earning for the good of the community. Again, the opportunities are available on our school website. Students must fill out the pink form, which is located on our website, and get sent it to Ms. Gorin, our assistant principal, and all that information is on the bottom of the form. And students can start turning in hours whenever they want. They don't need to wait till they're all done, but it was to be turned in by December 1st of junior year. So if your student hasn't turned those hours in, make sure they get in at least 20 so that they could be on track for graduation, and for at least 20. And for Bright Futures and other scholarships, their goal must be at least 75 for the Medallion scholarship and 100 for the academic. Keep in mind that most schools will want to see, even though graduation asks for a 2.0 GPA, most schools will want to see at least a 3.5 GPA. And most scholarships include Bright Futures with the 75 hours. Grade forgiveness is available to students who have earned a D or an F in a semester or year-long class. Okay, so if they, not a quarter grade, but if they earned a D or an F for a semester grade or for a year long, then they could get grade forgiveness. They can get it through a variety of ways. 1 is through Florida Virtual School. 1 is through Ingenuity Credit Lab, which we offer during the school day. So if your junior wants to take it as a senior, then they can take it as a senior. But do remember that when they're applying to schools, they're going to be applying in August and September. So they need to make sure that they're able to get it done before they're applying. And remember, the course remains on the transcript and the grade, so it'll always be there, but schools will see that they tried to retake it for grade forgiveness, but it will be removed from the Spanish River GPA. What colleges want to do with it, that's up to them, but at least they see they've redone those courses.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Loyacona. Next up, we have Ms. Cowman to discuss the next slides. Is she connected okay?
While we're waiting, I could start her if you would like.
Sure, please, thank
Okay,
you.
so PSAT scores. Oh, there she is. There
I'm
she
sorry.
is.
I don't know. Oh, Comcast is having a tough time here in my development tonight. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
that's
And I
okay.
was talking, I didn't even realize I wasn't connected. My apologies. Okay.
Okay.
So, juniors had the opportunity to take the PSAT again last October, and the scores arrived in December. The other thing to know is next week, all your juniors are going to be taking the SAT. So I hope they're prepared. What's great about that, though, is it'll give them a good baseline to see where they're at. And then they will have ample opportunities to take the SAT and the ACT come spring. There are some tests into the summer, and even in the fall, they'll have a few opportunities to take both tests again before they have to do their final submission for their college applications. So with the PSAT, there was a code provided that you can access collegeboard.org. All right. And my college quick start link, which gives information, practice, it gives you information on college planning. The other nice thing about either the PSAT or once they take the SAT, Khan Academy has done a phenomenal job linking with College Board to provide free tutoring. So what they have done is they take their SAT or PSAT scores and they make a personalized program for the students to be able to study. And what they do is they take those scores, they look at what the students did not do well in, they continue to reinforce what they got right in, and what they do is they develop a program out from their next test date. And then they give them practice a little bit every day. They give them little rewards along the way. They give them practice tests. And the only reason I can speak from experience is I made my niece do it 2 years ago, and she improved her score over 150 points. It is phenomenal, and it doesn't cost you anything. That's the other beauty of that. So it is a great resource. Okay. So obviously the SAT, that is huge. We know that a lot of schools are going test optional outside of Florida. All right, but all Florida state schools are going to use college entrance exams. They're not going to change that rule. They were firm when we met with all of them last fall that they are going to stick to using this as one of the criteria for entry. So SATs measure reading, math, and writing. Okay, the maximum score is an 800 in each section. And to get to that is collegeboard.org. The other test is the ACT. So that they measure verbal, math, reading, and science section. And a maximum score in each is 36. And that is ACT.org. So what we generally suggest to the students is you've done one of each, and then look at those. You can talk to your parents, talk to us, and then what you feel more comfortable with and you've done better in, stick with that, and then retest on that specific test to improve your scores. And ACT has a similar program. Let me just say this, I'm sorry. But it's not as well developed as Khan Academy. I will just tell you, they have one, but you have had to have taken the ACT first to be able to access their program and use it. Okay, so when we're applying for college, obviously the things that they're looking at is the academic courses you've taken. They're going to look for your achievements, test scores, the essays that you write on your college applications. They may want letters of recommendations. They want to see if you held leadership positions, if you have any special talents, and the type of extracurricular accomplishments that you've participated in over the 4 years. They want to know that you've been well-rounded. And again, going back to the community service that you've given back to your community. So they're going to look at all aspects of that before they determine whether you're a good fit for their school.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kalman. Next up, we have Ms. Solid to discuss the next couple of slides.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so we're going to be discussing the Bright Future Scholarship Program. So there are two types of scholarships in the Bright Future Scholarship Program. There's the Florida Academic Scholar and the Florida Medallion Scholar. The Florida Medallion Scholar covers 75% of tuition cost. It requires 16 credits that will count towards Bright Futures, which are 4 math, 4 English, 3 science, 3 social studies, and 2 years of world language. You must have a minimum of a 3.0 weighted GPA and a score of 25 on ACT or 1210 on the SAT. You must also have 75 community service hours for the Florida Medallion Scholar and maintain a 2.75 GPA in college. Now, the Florida Academic Scholar is 100% of tuition cost. You must have a 3.5 weighted GPA and a score of 29 on the ACT or 1330 on the SAT. It's the same 16 credits that count for as the Medallion Scholar, so 4 math, 4 English, 3 science, 3 social studies, and 2 years of world language. And for the Academic Scholar, it requires 100 community service hours. So 100 community service hours for 100%, 75 community service hours for the 75%. And then you must also maintain a 3.0 GPA while in college. And you can click, maybe. If not, you can go to Florida Student Financial Aid, and that discusses more about Bright Futures and also has the application. You'll apply online.
Yes, and also the click here link, because this presentation will be posted on the website. That is in hyperlink that will go to more information about Bright Futures.
And also about Bright Futures, it's awesome because it is available for up to 3 years after graduation. So even if your child isn't sure what they're going to do, as far as college or maybe going out of state, still apply, and they have up to 3 years after they graduate high school. Okay, this is the SUS Matrix, so the State University System of Florida Matrix. This just shows us, what colleges are looking for. So it talks about the types of applications accepted, if the school super scores, what they require for SAT, ACTs, GPA. So this is for last year. So for example, UFs, I know it's a little small, but when it's posted, I think that you'll be able to see it a little bit better. And there's also going to be a link for this as well that you can go to. So for example, UF's middle 50% for fall acceptance was 4.4 to 4.6 GPA. So this means that the bottom 25% had a 4.4 GPA, top 75% had a 4.6 GPA. And then the test scores 1340 through 1480 on SAT and 30 to 33 on the SAT, or ACT, I'm sorry. So this is just, like I said, a good idea, good way to see what colleges are looking for. And yeah. Okay, timeline for juniors. So February and March, so we're preparing, registering, and taking the SAT and ACT. I always recommend take them both at least once, see which one. Some people usually prefer one over the other, so see which one you prefer or your child prefers, and then you can take that at least another 1 or 2 times, whatever you prefer. But I would suggest taking both at least once. Explore colleges, so you can schedule virtual college tours. A lot of the colleges due to COVID have virtual college tours, so you're actually able to tour other schools as well that maybe you wouldn't have the opportunity to. If you do want an in-person tour, you can definitely call the school and see if they are offering that. I know some are, but some are not. So you just want to call and make sure. And we're exploring college majors, taking career assessments, skills, interest inventories. There's a great career assessment on Career One Stop, so that's always a great resource. And we're planning senior year courses, so we're doing that right now, making senior year schedule. April and May, continue to take the SAT and ACT. So you want to start early so you have plenty of time. Make a list of college options and attend virtual tours. And then you'll want to familiarize yourself with the application process, deadlines, and plan how you apply. A lot of schools use Common App, but there are some that use Coalition. Others use their own website. So you'll just want to familiarize yourself with that and make sure you know the steps that you're going to be taking. And then June and July, we'll finalize the list of colleges and complete college essays. In August and September, we're going to be starting to apply to colleges. You'll want to request recommendations from counselors and teachers if it's needed. A lot of counselors will ask for either your resume or a school or a profile sheet so that they can get a little bit more information and personalize the recommendation a little bit more. So you want to ask early and leave plenty of time for that.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Solid. Next up, we have Dr. Keller.
All right. Good evening, everyone. How are we? Okay. So first things first, this is a lot of information, and I'm sure that you might feel a little overwhelmed. One good thing is that this is going to be recorded, so you can go back and re-review any of this. So you don't have to be writing down all this information furiously. You will have access to this, and later we will put our contact information so you can contact us directly if you have some additional emails. So I am going to introduce a video on the next slide, which was pre-recorded. It's actually me, so like it's weird to introduce a video of me, but I recorded this earlier. We didn't know how this structure was going to happen, so I just want you to have a 2-minute and 30-second quick introduction into what you need for junior year, what you should be concerned with, and I will expand on that just a little bit once the video is open. So enjoy the video of me for the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Keller, and I am the career and college coach here at River. I just want to take a couple moments to give you some college knowledge, as college is just around the corner for all of you. So just a couple of takeaways for what you want to be doing this year, and focusing on, given that you only have 1 semester left. First things first, grades and test scores drive the college process. So you really want to make sure that you're taking the time to focus on those things. So you should have a SAT coming up here in March. If you choose to take it here at school, then wonderful. If you had opted to or not to take it, there are still other SAT and ACT testings coming up later in this year. There will also be some right at the beginning of the year. It's pretty hard and heavy. Also, you want to make sure that you're maintaining your grades. Your grades are super important. It is often talked about that it is the most important year, junior year, but it really isn't. But at the same time, it is the last opportunity you have to showcase what you have done to the colleges. So please maintain your grades. If you have grades that you're not so happy with, talk to your counselor about ways that you can recover those grades. You also want to start to put together a preliminary list of colleges that you're interested in. Those colleges should fall within your window of your academics and what you're interested in. Please stay open to all possibilities. It is about fit. You want to find a place that you are going to call home for the next 4 years. So you want to make sure that it is a suitable place. Also, start to think about what you want for your senior schedule. Colleges are concerned with what you are taking your senior schedule. So although they don't see your grades necessarily, they do want to see that you are continuing to push your academic envelope forward. Also, visit colleges. If colleges are still doing college visits, the majority of them are going to be virtually, but some are offering in person. So when you have time, such as spring break or during the summer, please take the opportunity to either visit colleges virtually or in person. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to me. I can be reached at my email, which is the best way, which is daniel.keller@palmbeachschools.org. Guys, that's all I've got. See you later.
Okay, so that was it in a nutshell. There is definitely more details that need to be flushed out with the process, but that is a good start. Okay, so mainly what needs to happen at this point is that the colleges, oh goodness, I hope you guys don't hear all that. That's just amazingly annoying. Okay. So with that, college applications typically open around August 1st. So at that time, that is when the green light happens and students are allowed to start actually submitting their applications anytime thereafter the August 1st deadlines or open dates. There will be some schools that will use specific platforms through their own institutions, and those may open a little earlier, but as a good starting point, August 1st is the time. That is when the common application will open. Okay, with that being said, students want to take the time from now until then to get their affairs in order. That would be their resume and a list of accomplishments that they want to start thinking about what they would write for their personal statement or their personal essay, and again, getting those test scores under control. So if a student is going to be taking the SAT here next week on Wednesday, wonderful. Hopefully it's a one and done. They go in and get the score that they want and move forward. But there are 3 additional dates thereafter. One, the 2 weekends after our March 3rd deadline on the 13th. There is a May date and a June date also to take the SAT. So there's still plenty of time to get that under control. Okay, so now there are plenty of resources that are available to you as well. Ms. Kalman highlighted Khan Academy, which is a wonderful resource for SAT prep and just overall prep in general. ACT and SAT are so closely related these days that if you're prepping for one, essentially you're prepping for the other. We do post to our school website very often, so there'll be some information there as well. Currently, we have a scholarship page through the school info section, and that page is 18 pages. So that website is 18 pages of scholarships, and it's never too early to start looking for scholarships. In the chat, I will give you the link for that here momentarily. Also, the second bullet point is Big Futures, sponsored by College Board, which is a good way to flush out any additional thoughts about what you wanted to do in college. When I sit and talk to students, oftentimes I hear that I have no idea what I want to study. That's a good way to try to figure it out, because once you have that sort of figured out, then it's a little easier to pinpoint the school that would suit you best. Also, there's FAFSA information and overall scholarship information on bullets 3 and 4, and it's a searchable website. FastWeb is you'll fill out a profile, and it's essentially Google, but with an emphasis on scholarships. And lastly, the Florida Shines, another great resource for career assessments. Palm Beach State also has a wonderful tool that, and I'll put a bunch of links with their purpose in the chat here once I'm finished with my section, so that you can peruse through those at your leisure. But yeah, the resources are all out there, and we try to give them to you as often as we can so that you have access to everything you need. And again, if you need to reach out to me and you have some specific questions, please do so. Do not hesitate. So again, we are on our own website, clearly, but then we do have some other social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook as well. We try to cover as many bases as possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Keller. And this concludes the body portion of junior planning night.